Chapter 12 Friction. Friction is a force that opposes motion between any surfaces that are touching. Friction between a bicycle brake pad and the rim of a wheel causes the wheel to stop turning. Have you ever thought why a vehicle slows down when brakes are applied? Not only vehicles, any object moving over the surface of another object slows down when no external force is applied on it. Finally, it stops. Have you not seen a moving ball on the ground stopping after some time? Why do we slip when we step on a banana peel? Figure 12.1. Why is it difficult to walk on a smooth and wet floor? You will find the answers to such questions in this chapter. Force of friction. You saw that if you apply the force along the left, friction acts along the right. If you apply the force along the right, the friction acts along the left direction. In both cases, the force opposes the motion of the book. The force of friction always opposes the applied force. In the above activity, the force of friction acts between the surface of the book and the surface of the table. Is the friction the same for all the surfaces? Does it depend on the smoothness of the surfaces? Let us find out. Factors that affect friction. In which case is the distance covered the minimum? Why is the distance covered by the pencil cell different every time? Try to reason why. Discuss the result. I shall try the activity by wrapping a piece of sandpaper around the cell. Does the distance covered depend on the nature of the surface on which the cell moves? Could the smoothness of the surface of the cell also affect the distance traveled by it? Friction is a force that resists the relative motion between two objects or materials. Even those surfaces which appear very smooth have a large number of minute irregularities on them. Figure 12.5. Irregularities on the two surfaces lock into one another. When we attempt to move any surface, we have to apply a force to overcome interlocking. On rough surfaces, there are a larger number of irregularities. So the force of friction is greater if a rough surface is involved. We see that the friction is caused by the interlocking of irregularities in the two surfaces. It is obvious that the force of friction will increase if the two surfaces are pressed harder. You can experience it by dragging a mat when nobody is sitting on it, and when a person is sitting on it. Recall your experience when last time you moved a heavy box from one place to another. Figure 12.6. If you have no such experience, get that experience now. What is easier, to move the box from rest, or to move it when it is already in motion? Static friction acts on objects when they are resting on the surface. For example, if you are hiking in the woods, there is static friction between your shoes and the trail. On the other hand, the force required to keep the object moving with the same speed is a measure of sliding friction. When the box starts sliding, the contact points on its surface do not get enough time to lock into the contact points on the floor. So, the sliding friction is slightly smaller than the static friction, and you find it somewhat easier to move the box already in motion than to get it started. Friction is a necessary evil. There are instances in daily life where friction is a necessity. For example, without friction, we cannot hold objects in our hands. Just think, would it be possible to hold the glass at all if there is no friction? Recall also how difficult it is to move on a wet muddy track, or wet marble floor. Can you imagine being able to walk at all if there were no friction? You could not write with pen or pencil if there were no friction. When your teacher is writing with chalk on the blackboard, its rough surface rubs off some chalk particles which stick to the blackboard. Could it happen if there were no friction between the chalk and the board? If an object started moving, it would never stop if there were no friction. Had there been no friction between the tires of the automobiles and the road, they could not be started or stopped or turned to change the direction of motion. You could not fix a nail on the wall, figure 12.7, or tie a knot. Without friction, no building could be constructed. On the other hand, friction is an evil, too. It wears out the materials whether they are screws, ball bearings or soles of shoes. Figure 12.8. You must have seen worn-out steps or foot over bridges at railway stations. You know that friction produces heat. Continuously rubbing your palms together for a few minutes. Figure 12.9. How do you feel? You feel warm, but do you know why? Friction causes the molecules on rubbing surfaces to move faster, so they have more energy. When you strike a matchstick against the rough surface, it catches fire. Figure 12.10. You might have observed that the jar of a mixer becomes hot when it is run for a few minutes. You can cite various other examples in which friction produces heat. In fact, when a machine is operated, heat generated causes much wastage of energy. We shall discuss the ways of minimizing friction in the following section. Increasing and reducing friction in real life. There are circumstances where we have to increase the friction and minimize the friction. Friction can be increased by increasing the roughness of the surfaces in contact. For example, treating of shoes and tires is done to increase friction. These tires have better grip with the ground. We deliberately increase friction by using brake pads in the brake system of bicycles and automobiles. When you are riding a bicycle, the brake pads do not touch the wheels. But when you press the brake lever, these pads arrest the motion of the rim due to friction. The wheel stops moving. You might have seen that kabaddi players rub their hands with soil for a better grip of their opponents. Gymnasts apply some coarse substance on their hands to increase friction for better grip. In some situations, however, friction is undesirable and we would want to minimize it. Why do you sprinkle fine powder on the carom board? Figure 12.12. You might have noticed that when a few drops of oil are poured on the hinges of a door, the door moves smoothly. A bicycle and a motor mechanic uses grease between the moving parts of these machines. In all the above cases, we want to reduce friction in order to increase efficiency. When oil, grease or graphite is applied between the moving part of a machine, a thin layer is formed there and moving surfaces do not directly rub against each other. Figure 12.13. Interlocking of irregularities is avoided to a great extent. Movement becomes smooth. A substance that is introduced between two surfaces in contact to reduce friction is called a lubricant. In some machines, it may not be advisable to use oil as lubricant. An air cushion between the moving parts is used to reduce friction. To reduce friction, you must have seen attaches and other pieces of luggage fitted with rollers. Even a child can pull such pieces of luggage. Figure 12.14. Why is it so? Let us find out. It is done due to the rolling friction. Rolling friction is the force resisting the motion when a body rolls on a surface. Rolling reduces friction. It is always easier to roll than to slide a body over another. That is the reason it is convenient to pull luggage fitted with rollers. Can you now understand why the wheel is said to be one of the greatest inventions of mankind? Since the rolling friction is smaller than the sliding friction, sliding is replaced in most machines by rolling by the use of ball bearings. Common examples are the use of ball bearings between hubs and the axles of ceiling fans and bicycles. Fluid friction. Fluid friction is friction that acts on objects that are moving through a fluid. A fluid is a substance that can flow and the shape of its container. Fluids include liquids and gases. So we can say that fluids exert force of friction on objects in motion through them. The frictional force exerted by fluids is also called drag. Or drag is the aerodynamic force that opposes an aircraft's motion through the air. It is obvious that when objects move through fluids, they have to overcome friction acting on them. In this process they lose energy. Efforts are, therefore, made to minimize friction. So, objects are given special shapes. Where do you think scientists get hints for these special shapes? From nature, of course. Birds and fishes have to move about in fluids all the time. Their bodies must have evolved to shapes which would make them lose less energy in overcoming friction. You read about these shapes in class Virgin Islands. Look carefully at the shape of an aeroplane, figure 12.17. Do you find any similarity in its shape and that of a bird? In fact, all vehicles are designed to have shapes which reduce fluid friction.